When I first started flipping houses, I had no money, right? I was young, I was new to the business, and I had $0 for marketing. If you don't have money for marketing, what do? You have to do outbound sales. You need to go directly to the source. You need to contact homeowners. You need to contact real estate agents because you have no marketing doing the work for you. So until you can actually spend money to do the marketing, you're not going to have marketing. So you are the marketing. You are the outbound salesperson. And it doesn't cost you anything other than time to pick up a phone, to send a text message, or send an email. When I say outbound sales, I'm not talking about doing what I did when I first got in the business. So what I did when I first got in the business is I would just knock on every single door. I would spend hours going door to door. I would pick up a phone book and just start randomly calling people. That is outbound sales, but that's not going to get me the highest return. So if you're going to spend your time on outbound sales, you got to make sure you're contacting the right people. And the right people are the people that are most likely to sell the house. So how do you find that data? You gotta pull lists. So I wanna talk to you about a few different lists that I suggest you pull, and I'm gonna give you the reasons why. So the first list you're gonna pull, and by the way, when I talk about a list, just go online and Google real estate data companies. I'll just tell you the company that I like to use. You don't have to use them. They're called ListSource, and ListSource gives me a lot of valuable information. So what you're gonna do is you're gonna take the masses and bring it down with a much smaller criteria. And that's how you're gonna find the motivated sellers that you need to contact. So the first group of people that you wanna contact are absentee owners. An absentee owner is an owner of real estate that owns a property where you're looking to flip, but actually lives in a different state or a different country, hence the word absentee. The other list is multiple property owners. A multiple property owner sounds like it is. It's a person that owns more than one house. And multiple property owners is a great list, not just because I say so, but many people out in the world that know everything about real estate and statistics and opportunities, they know that that's the highest rate of return. But my opinion on it is a multiple property owner, they typically own, a couple houses, maybe 3, 4, 5 houses. I also know it's typically a family business, meaning it's owned by the family. And as people get older, as properties get older, they start deteriorating. They start falling apart. Tenants stop paying. So a lot of times these people that own multiple properties, they get to the point where they just want to start selling. And when it's time to sell, we want them to sell to an investor like you. I'm going to give you a suggestion on what I think is the best way for you to actually approach your lists. I don't want you calling 3 different lists all at the same time with 3 different scripts. The reason I don't want you to do that is because you're gonna get confused. And the reason I know you're gonna get confused is because I would get confused. So what I want you to do is focus on one list at a time. By the time you're done with that first list, you'll be way ahead of the game for the second list. You'll know what to say and you'll be used to the conversation. There is no trick to convincing someone to sell their house. There is no hard close that you can use to convince someone to do something they don't want to do. Your job is to simply ask the question, do you have any interest in selling? Because what's going to happen is eventually you're going to ask the question to the person that wants to sell. So your job is to keep making those calls until you find the person. So what I'm saying is you're not trying to convince a person, you're trying to find a person, and that's why you have to put in the work. And when I say pull a list, I'm not talking about calling 50 people. I'm not talking about mailing 50 letters. I'm talking about thousands. I'm talking about you are going to do this until you get your first deal. I want you to focus on absentee owners or multiple property owners or any list that you want until you get your first deal. And if you don't get a deal off that first list, I want you to pull a new list in a different area and keep hitting it until it works. Here's why. Because it works. And people quit too soon. Most people, they'll start doing this. They get a homeowner on the phone that's rude to them. They say, this isn't for me, and they quit. Listen, guys, people are going to be rude to you, and that's just life. There's nothing you can do about it. You just have to be tough. You have to have thick skin for this business. And I know that you have thick skin because you already took the first step to becoming a real estate investor. And we all know to be a real estate investor, you kind of got to be a little crazy. You got to be a gambler. You want to go big. So you already have that personality type. So just remember this. It's okay if people are rude. It's okay if they say no. It's not okay if you stop making contacts. So I've been talking a lot about making these phone calls to the absentee owners, but you're not just stopping there. So I want you to call all the absentee owners that are not on the do not call list and see if they want to sell the house. A large majority of them aren't going to pick up and they're not going to respond. So then I want you to text message all of these people. So now you're trying to call them. Now you're text messaging. If you can't reach them over text, your third step is going to be a handwritten letter. So let's just say you start with a list of 5,000 absentee owners, right? You call and talk to 1,000 of them that aren't interested. You're down to 4,000. And now you text another 3,000 and only 1,000 respond. So let's just say you have 3,000 houses left. So 3,000 houses are left that you tried to contact and you didn't get a response. Your last ditch effort is going to be sending them a handwritten letter. The reason I do a handwritten letter is because I send it first class mail and it's handwritten. So on the actual envelope, I use a red pen and I actually write the property address. When the people open the envelope, the actual piece of paper is a yellow piece of paper and I write my notes with a red pen. You see, it's different getting a handwritten letter that someone took the time to write versus getting a postcard that could be mass mailed. Another reason handwritten is so much better is because you have a higher response rate, because people will typically think that it's someone they know, because someone they know takes the time to write a letter. We just talked about outgoing prospecting to different lists, which I think is the absolute best spot for you to start your business. Aside from contacting homeowners, another great way to find deals is establishing referral partner relationships. Before I tell you what this is about, I must say I don't personally do this, although there are many people out there today that are doing it and they're successfully flipping houses. And now we're talking about your referral partners. You're not going to be cold calling referral partners, you're going to be building relationships. And a referral partner is anyone in a business that might be able to send you a lead. So here are a few examples, and I would love for you to actually think for yourself and think of other ways that might actually work. So one good way that I hear really works is working with divorce attorneys, right? I'm not talking about cold calling a divorce attorney. I'm talking about building a relationship with that attorney. So maybe start with a call, introducing yourself and letting them know if they ever come across couples or sellers that need to get out of their house fast, you're a solution. So what I want you to do is just pull up all the divorce attorneys in your area, compile a list, and one by one start reaching out and building a relationship. And just let the lawyer know, if you have clients that need to sell fast, you are a solution. And don't forget, these are business professionals, so you're not gonna stalk them, you're not gonna cold call them a million times. You're gonna try to build a relationship. If you can't build a relationship, move on to the next lawyer. If you can't build that relationship, move on to the next lawyer. So the key is always keep moving. You keep getting no's until you get a yes. So I want you to try working with divorce attorneys. Another great idea that I know a lot of people do is dealing with restoration companies. A restoration company is the guy you call or the company you call when you drive home and your house is flooding, or you have major water damage, or your house caught on fire. See, these people are the first call. So when someone's house burns down, when someone's house is infested with mold, they call a restoration company. So I want you to find the companies that these people call and let them know if they come across a job and the seller doesn't want to fix the house, they can sell it to you. Another great way for outbound sales is contacting real estate agents. Real estate agents, they've come across deals on accident. Like, they find houses you can flip, not even trying. Why? Because boots on the ground. They're in the trenches. They are actively in the field. They are your eyes and ears. So what I want you to do is contact as many real estate agents as you possibly can. But just remember this. If real estate agents have the deals, they need to know who you are. You're not a designer. You're not a contractor. You're not a realtor. You are a prospecting machine. Your job is to find houses. And with everything I just showed you, it's 100% possible if you put in the work. I can give you all the information in the world, but it's up to you to make it happen. So just remember, it's your job to pull the lists. It's your job to contact the owners. It's your job to send the text messages, and it's your job to find the deals.